Should be connecting to the stream. Welcome all of you joining us on Twitch or YouTube video on demand. This is episode 192 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. So glad that you're joining us. Tonight, I see Trevoid over there on Twitch, so Twitch is working. Channel open here. There it is. Sure, YouTube is working. YouTube seems to be working as well. We'll give people a little bit of time to jump on. If you want to skip ahead and you're watching on demand, just skip ahead until you get to the introduction video, and you'll know where to go. But if you want to hang out in the pre-show, this is pre-show conversation, sharing the live stream announcement so some other people can join us. We're a little bit later on this Thursday night, about an hour later than normal. Martyr, how you doing? One of our YouTube members. Oh, I advanced level 1. Where am I? Trevoid, one of our subscribers on Twitch. Thank you both for your support and early showing up. Your support and your promptness. Dreams and honor. Support and promptness. Anna Crow. Anna Crow hype in chat. See Sam. Summon Biscuits. How y'all doing? How y'all doing? What is this little emote of? See Sam? I can't. Oh, it's Raw Life. Nice. A Raw Life emote. Raw Life hype. Oh, man. What a great way to start a show. Oh, I'm so tired. Worn out. Got me singing. Worn out. I'm not used to singing, nor am I used to singing as high as I'm singing. For as long as I was singing. Muscles I don't usually use anymore. So it goes. Very exciting. We got a lot to talk about tonight. A lot to talk about. Dreams and honor. D-Night, what's up? How's everybody in chat doing? How's your defo been? It's been a couple weeks since we've podcasted. Thrown up some videos, but how's your defo experience going these days? How have your draws been? Which characters would you like to be in defo that aren't in defo? Just write out your list. Thank you. We missed you, D-Night. And Machamp is my waifu. Which game would you...
That? Yeah, do we answer that now?
What?
I guess so, right? His Q&A?
Oh, yeah. No, that's more than fine. Thank you. Machamp is my waifu for your Q&A redemption. Redemption! If you honestly had to switch focus from defo, which game would you want to have a podcast about? What would you enjoy talking about for 1 to 2 hours? No game. Do you have any game that you would want to talk about for 1 to 2 hours?
I don't even want to talk about this game.
I play other games, obviously. Wouldn't care to talk about them on stream. I could talk about anything on stream. I could do a podcast just about stuff that I think is interesting. That's something that could happen for sure. But in terms of, What am I playing? Final Fantasy 14. Sure as hell don't want to do a podcast about that. I play that every week with some friends from college. Mino usually sneaks on and watches us fail horribly in trials and dungeons. We did pretty good last week, though. We're in Shadowbringers. So, yeah, you were talking about adding characters. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of, they could add a lot of 14 characters. So many 14 characters. There's so many idiots in that game. But yeah, I mean, there's no other game that I've given as much attention to as Final Fantasy, well, Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera. I mean, we could do a Final Fantasy podcast, but I don't think we're necessarily the right people for that either. And there are Final Fantasy podcasts, or at least there was at one point. We could certainly talk about Final Fantasy. You know, we could spend a week talking about, or we could spend a couple weeks talking about each one. There'd be some shorter shows than others. But I don't, if we were to drop this game today, I don't think we would pick up another game right now. That being said, you know, at least there is Crisis Core, whatever, Ever Crisis. I mean, that has potential for something I could get interested in to replace Defo, if Defo dies or if I stop playing, which at this point is not my plan. So we'll wait and see. I really like Defo. Yo, what's up, Joe? Everybody check out Joe Wags. Hey, also check out the live stream, Raw Life, and Chew. Shout out to you as well. But yeah, so I mean, I've invested 4 years of my life into this game. So in Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia, I don't know that I've played any other game as long. I mean, Mino's played 14 longer than this, but not consistently. You know, you play for a while, then you take a break. You play for a while, take a break.
Yeah, I'm on sub now.
Yeah, so I mean, but you've played it over the years. Yeah, I mean, I've played Super Mario Brothers since I was 8, so over 30 years. But not every week. For like literally, I mean, I've played this game, Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omni. I have played this game every day for over 4 years. I don't know, maybe 1 or 2, but I don't necessarily think I have missed any days. So I've played this game every day for 4 years. That's what, 1,400 consecutive days. I mean, there's no other game that compares to that. I mean, I played Warcraft 1, 2, 3. I played Diablo 1, 2, 3. I played StarCraft 1, 2. Trying to think other games that I played like for a long period of time. I mean, I played Final Fantasy Record Keeper for almost 2 years. You know, I played a couple other mobile games really competitively for about a year each. Guild-based games that I was very involved in. You know, I've played other games, you know, Magic the Gathering. I've played since I was maybe 10, 11. But again, I'm not playing that every week. Even when I did play it, I wasn't playing it every day. You know, I would play maybe Friday Night Magic, occasional regional things, or play, you know, once a week with friends. So yeah, I mean, there's just nothing. And I don't have, I mean, I really don't, I haven't, this is the first time I've had a computer for quite some time. I guess I did play Diablo 3 on my laptop, on my gaming laptop. But, you know, I just don't have a ton of time to play sit-down games. And if I do, I usually want to do other things. So, logging into Defo, I mean, I, like, this Anna Crow event, I mean, hammered out. I mean, I think I completely leveled her, did all her boards, everything, and did the entire event I still haven't done all the co-ops, but like an hour and a half. Like, so, I mean, So even when there's something new, depending on what it is, obviously Pandemonium took a little bit longer. Not Pandemonium, whatever. Which Leviathan, whatever, which one we're doing. I should probably know as we're talking about that tonight. But yeah, I mean, it's just crazy to think about playing this game. And I know there are people that play other games, World of Warcraft, back in the day, EverQuest, probably Final Fantasy 14, who really do play it like every day and are obsessed with it. I've never really played a game like that. So I have played a game where you get a new game and you play it for 30 hours straight or 40 hours straight and beat it. Like, I've done that. I'm pretty sure that's how I played Final Fantasy X. I'm pretty sure I sat down and played that like in one weekend. But yeah, those days are not those are far behind me. Unless my family's like on vacation by themselves and I decide to stay home and play video games. And quite frankly, if that happens, I'm not sitting around playing video games the entire weekend. Probably catching up on sleep. I don't know. So there's nothing else like oh yeah, and I mean, just look around to the other content creators in this community. It's hard, and it's hard to be a content creator if this is your gig, and then you try to branch out, because it's hard, right? I mean, yeah, there are gotchas who have that are. I mean, Final Fantasy Record Keeper is still going. Bleach Brave Souls is still going. Dokkan Battle is still going. That's the Dragon Ball Z. Those are 6, 7, 8 years. Yeah, there's probably a couple that are that are 8, 9, 10 years old. Gotcha games that are still running. Sure. I'm not doing a podcast on those, but
Any prediction on when Ever Crisis drops? Not this year.
no, it's not going to be this year.
Not this year, they said. So
so if it drops, I mean, let's be honest. Of course, the general model, so we can expect a 2023 drop in Japan and then 2024 in the West, in the US and Europe and the rest of the world, global, I guess.
They could do it simultaneously.
That would be awesome.
Squex has been pushing to do that for a while. Maybe.
I would really, I mean, it would be really good, I think, if it was a global release. I am all in favor of a global release. None of this JP bullshit. I know what to do. Like, it would be fun if we were all learning it together. We could, that would be fun for me. If I'm talking about doing a different podcast or adding on to the podcast, that would be fun to do something like on the fly. You having to actually have some insight into what the game's going on, what it's like. I mean, I think that would be fun for me. We don't know what kind of game it's going to be either, so it could be a real bummer.
American gotchas.
Yeah, that sounds awful. What's an American gotcha?
Like Raid Shadow Legends?
Raid? I don't think I've ever even downloaded Raid Shadow Legends.
Cookie Run?
Yeah, Cookie Run. I did try Cookie Run.
Fire Emblem Heroes is synced?
Oh yeah, I guess. Yeah, I played Fire Emblem for a while. I thought Fire Emblem was good. Obviously, it's got its issues, and I don't have any connection to the series. But I thought it was a fun game for a while. I played it on launch. I'm playing some. Did you see the text in Not Safe for Work of this game that I'm playing? The awesome battle screen. Like they're just like totally just
what the fuck?
Yeah. What game is this? What's it called? What's it called? Let me look. It's Attack on Time. It just came out this week. Attack on Time. It is waifu bait bonanza. But yeah, that is the literal battle screen that you're looking at. It is just, if you're on our Discord, it's in the Not Safe for Work channel. It is literally just but they give you all the numbers too, so you can immediately skip the battle. You don't have to sit there. You can just skip the battle, and then they give you the numbers, which I thought was hilarious. But believe me, the art, the art makes up for the battle. Like, because I'm gonna be honest, as a second game, I do not want to play the game. Like, I like playing Defo. But, any other gacha that I've played where you actually have to, like, spend time, play, I could care less. Like, give me a second game that's just like a login and AFK and try to, play the system a little bit. Yeah, I'm all for that. And they're a dime a dozen. This is just one of the newer ones. I do not suggest playing any of those kind of games. I burn through them real quick. I like to play, kind of how far can you get as soon as you can get, that's something that I enjoy doing from time. We should probably start the show, huh? I think we got a good group with us.
Like AFK Arena. There's actually shit tons of Western gotchas.
Yeah, I played AFK Arena
too. The fucking Star Wars game you were playing before.
Oh, that's God, yeah.
Marvel Strike Force.
Oh, God, the Marvel games are real bad.
There's a lot of Disney ones. There's like Disney ones.
Oh, there's the new Disney one is coming out. What's it called?
Like coming out, you mean like June, July? But
yeah. Yeah. That one is coming out eventually. Hey, thank you for the follow. All right. Yeah, let's get started. Let's do the show. We'll start recording in 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome everyone to episode 192 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, recorded on this April 7, 2022. I'm your host, Mark, and I am so glad to be here, but I'm not by myself. I'm joined by all of our viewers on Twitch and YouTube, and of course you can give us a follow, a sub, ring the bell, become a member on YouTube, give us a sub on Twitch. Appreciate all of that. And all of you podcast audience listening later, appreciate it. I did get a haircut. Thank you. Fade Into Gaming. Check out our friend Fade Into Gaming. But I'm not by myself. I'm joined by my good friend and yours. It is Mino Spellgood. Mino, how are you doing this evening?
Hey, Mark. Doing better than I thought I would. This 1 week gap, 2 week gap, whatever you want to call it, between the episodes has really helped. I really recommend it to any CCs who are feeling a little burnt out, because I know BC's been doing it. I'm pretty sure he's been enjoying it. And I think I was talking to some other CCs who were saying that it's really hard to come out with content on a weekly basis right now.
Yeah, 100%. It's not just Stop the Cap. I think it's garbage time.
Yeah.
It's characters that we're going to talk about tonight in succession that are whatever. Like, I mean, they're perhaps not people's favorites. Some of them are super powerful, but at some point, who cares? And so, yeah, I mean, it's good for us, as well. I mean, part of the break is also just life. This is a busy season in my life. And so if you look back historically throughout the podcast history, we do tend to take breaks at this time because things like Monday, Thursday are coming up here in my calendar next week. So that's why we're going to be off. I'm going to be on vacation following Easter, for a wedding. So I'll be off that as well. So, I mean, there's, that's just part of it as well. Yes, Hanchu, I'm wearing my Cubs shirt. The Cubbies did win opening day against the Brew Crew, against the Brewers. So go Cubs, go. And was an excellent game. And very excited to start off the year like that. Hopefully we'll have a good year of 500 baseball. No, I'm a Cubs fan. We don't have a lot of expectations, but what we do expect is obviously, as I already mentioned, we are not going to be having a podcast probably next week. That's Monday, Thursday. So I will be busy. I'll be across the street at church, doing the service there. But when we come back the following week, we're gonna share it tonight. But we're gonna have very exciting news. We are going to be officially sponsored And so the next podcast will be officially sponsored by our good friends at what?
Do we have the code this week?
Oh, we do have the code. I can share the code. I actually got my stuff today. So I haven't used it, but
they said ship today for me. I haven't gotten it. But...
So we are going to be sponsored by our good friends at Manscaped. You've probably seen their ads on the YouTube or wherever you see their advertisements these days, and they have sent us everything. Very, very generous. They've sent us everything. And so you can check out, we're going to tell you all about our experience with Manscaped. That was not a joke, some biscuits. 100%. They reached out to us, asked if they would like to partner with us. So they have sent us the Lawnmower 4.0, the Weed Whacker, like a whole cadre of other things. Mino, they sent a whole package to Mino and myself completely free. So we're going to try it all out. We're going to tell you all about it. And the one thing I can say, if you are a member of Manscaped, if you enjoy their products, if you need replacement blades, underwears, they have clothing like that, you can use our code TCCPOD, TCCPOD, and get 20% off your order. So, and if a few of you do that over the next month or so, we're going to be in partnership with them. So, no.
Kill that today? You didn't tell me anything about guidelines or
no. So we're not going to talk about the items, or we're not going to talk about our experience because we haven't had an experience. But I'll let Mino know all the stuff we have to. We'll do an official advertisement, everything else on the next podcast. But the code is active as of today. TCC Pod. That's TCC POD, and get 20% off your order if you're already a Manscaped customer, or if you want to go and look, check out their stuff. But we'll let you know here in a couple weeks our experience with it. And I've got a lot of jokes about I got a lot of jokes about blitzballs and gun blades. And so I don't think they'll appreciate it, but I don't care. So we'll yeah, I'm still working on the Dr. Squatch one too. But we'll take it. So thanks to our good friends at Manscaped. You can go check out manscaped.com. TCC solid barrel. That's good. I hadn't gone that deep into it yet. That's what she said. Now it's gonna be exciting. I don't even know where to begin. But let's talk about trivia. What was our trivia this week? Last week was, which Final Fantasy characters would Mark and Mino, or would Mark have a drink with, and in what world? And I think my picks were Belthier, watching a airship theater troupe play in Alexandria, and grabbing some beers with Zell at the Blitzball Arena. So I think that was my answer. I forgot already. What's the, let me jump to the pre-show because I didn't write it in. This is a great question from our TCC intern, Poto Cedar. Who was the special guest during the episode that Squex sponsored? You might remember that Squex sponsored a couple episodes. So the last episode that Squex sponsored the stream, and I made a lot of inappropriate jokes. Who was our special guest? Mino, do you remember who our special guest was?
Guess? Can I guess?
Yeah.
I was it BC?
It was not. I didn't.
It was not. It's not BC. Okay.
I have to go back and watch the episode. A while ago, so I did not remember this at all. Poto Cedar had to remind me who it was. So yeah, very, very interesting. So you can go back and check. I think it's in the 90s. So it would say, if you look back, it would say sponsored by Squex in the title. So check that out. We'll give you the answer after the show. Well, the news of the day. What's the news? I obviously didn't update the outline. Yeah, there's some stuff going on. Yeah, we have an outline. There's news, and the news has been, there's addressed issues, and that's good. Woohoo. And Anna isn't working good, or her name is, they're going to change her name here. Close Enough Holy is going to be renamed to Kinda Sorta Holy at some point. That's really exciting. That's pretty much all the news that we have. And good luck to you. There's some costumes, nothing new, I think, on the horizon. Rydia doesn't have a costume. Steiner doesn't have a costume. Anna Crow doesn't have a costume. Zach's got a couple of costumes. So that's something. I think there's a bow too, the Easter bow. So if you like the weapon glosses, That is an option. There are some special sales as well. Cross 13, no, we did start late, so you are just on time. So what we're going to do this week, breaking down the Zach cycle thus far, we're just going to spend some time talking about the characters. Then we're going to take a little break, have some discussion. And then we're going to kind of talk about the events as we want to. And then we'll talk about whatever the hell else we want to talk about and go from there. So let's start with the characters. Since the last time we've been together, we've had quite a few characters. C90 updates for Trey, Sid Reigns, Reno, new LDs for Rydia Steiner, new character Anna Crow, and of course BT pluses for Ramza and Zach. So C90 updates, Trey, Sid Reigns, Reno. I don't necessarily have a lot to say. I think Trey and Reno are viable again. I think they are fun characters. Trey with his traps, Reno with his enchant, paralyze, pyramid, some other things. I've seen a lot of people like focused on Sid Reigns. And I really don't, I mean, Sid Reigns is whatever. He launches, he enables launch, he cleanses, he dispels, right? He does like everything. But I don't think he's that exciting in this era. Mino, but I've seen a lot of people like, oh, I got to pull for Sid Reigns, Mino, any thoughts about these three characters or why people are so excited about Sid Reigns?
No.
I
don't know.
I don't understand it. Nothing against Sid Reigns. I just feel like, he's had his time. He's going to get his time again. And that's okay. But I wouldn't go out of my way to pull for characters like this. We've talked about this before. Unless you're really pulling for other things or trying to get Zach's cycle. Personally, for me, just so that you know, the call is still nice. Yep, Raylos Pendragon. If you didn't pick up that call, it is nice. Of course, we're going to get Selfie as well. So that's a nice call as well. Here in a little bit, if you want to do launch stuff. But I'm doing a little experiment. I think Mino's doing the same thing, although I don't know if you're using just gems. I am using gems this entire month and no tickets. And I'm going to see how many gems I can spend in 1 month because people keep telling me, hey, you got to spend gems, stop hoarding. And it's not going great so far, but...
Man, I've been doing that for like 4 months now.
Yeah.
That's not a new experiment for me.
It's not working out great for you either. You still have a lot of gems, right?
Yeah, actually, before going into this month, pulling gems for 3 months straight, I was only down 50k from when I started. I was only down 50k. I mean, that might be like absurd luck. I had a pity or two in there, but now my real problem is I'm way above ticket cap and I can't get rid of my fucking tickets, and then I can't spend gems till I get rid of my tickets. So I don't know what's happening.
Well, if you look at my thing, so because I've been spending gems, I am maxed out on tickets, and I have currently 3 pages of tickets in my inbox. I don't even know how many tickets, hundreds of tickets in my inbox.
Oh my God,
I mean, I'm going to end this month because I'm using all gems because I got to spend my gems down, obviously. I'm going to end this month with probably 2,000 tickets. And so then I'm going to start switching to tickets and then I'll build my gems back up. Yeah, I mean, it's just it's like a lose situation. But we did get some new weapons throughout here the last couple weeks. And the first 2 LDs are Rydia and Steiner. Rydia, I really think is cool, but it's funny because Rydia has a couple. Rydia is a water enchant. Rydia enchants and imperils the water element. She has a unique debuff that basically overwrites any absorb resistance to the water element. So if she has her debuff on, the boss will be weak to water, regardless of what they come with, which in theory, really, really cool. She also has a unique buff she gives to the party, which basically gives all the party members 3 stacks or 3 turns, or 3 attacks, I should say, 3 stacks of evasion. which is, again, really, really cool. She also does some solid support. So I think Rydia is a really cool character. The problem is there's really never a situation where you need to use her debuff. I believe moving forward, it's just like nothing absorbs, like besides Leviathan, nothing absorbs water, or there's other ways you can get around it. And we have a lot of other tanks who can kind of do, I mean, we just had Layla who, evades and counters. And now we just got Zach, and then we're going to get, Snow's coming up, and a lot of other tanks who are going to do that. But like in theory, I think she's a really cool character. I like Rydia. She works fine if you want to invest in her. The problem is she's whip, which is not one of the best ultimate weapons. Although I've seen quite a few of you really double down on that whip and do have that ultimate 5/5 ultimate whip. So, use it well. There's a few of those whip users out there. So invest in them all if you're going to use Rydia. But kind of one of these characters that I like on paper does some cool things, but in practice, I'm not really sure how often you're going to use that. Mino, what are your thoughts on Rydia?
This is probably the worst month of Defo I could ever fucking remember.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Rydia is the first up to bat. Apparently gets worse. We're not even going to cover the worst of this month. This episode,
it's next week.
Worse.
It's next time. Yeah.
But this full month was the stupidest fucking month of Defo I've ever fucking seen, and I've been playing since day one here. Rydia is such a slap to the face because it reminds me of all the fucking snake oil salesmen out there where they're telling you, hey, this medicine will make you immune to some made up disease. Let's just call it fucking TCC. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm blanking on disease names. Whatever. Let's say this disease will cure you from like unicorn corona or some shit.
Yeah.
And it just never comes. It's just not an issue. Like it might as well give me a fucking character that makes me immune to a very specific fucking debuff. I don't know.
Exist.
Yeah. Let's make a character that makes you immune from instant death attacks, and then just never fucking introduce it at all. Like this is the stupidest fucking gimmick. This is on. If I want to be generous, I'll say that the character design team and the fight design team are just not communicating, right?
At all.
Like, they're like, oh, hey, let's make a character that can ignore water absorb, and then just 9 months of 0 water absorb in fights ever. Like, it's a gimmick that literally has no purpose, and it gives you nothing. She might as well not have a gimmick. It would work out the exact fucking same. But this is some of the stupidest design I've ever seen in my fucking life. So divorced, so fucking tone deaf is it giving us this gimmick that literally will not come into use ever in the foreseeable JP future.
Nope.
That I'm not even sure why this is marketed as a selling point. Also, you take that away, what the fuck does she have? The terrible fucking mist buff that gives you 3 charges of dodge. We could talk about that, Mark. I don't know if you want to talk about that. But basically, so it's kind of interesting. So it's a buff that has no turn countdown. So theoretically, it could be up forever as long as it doesn't get triggered, right? Like it doesn't go down on your turn. So if you're no turning it, the buff can stay. I guess you could use that to push off debuffs as a new framed buff or whatever. But it's really useless. It's super pointless. Well, that's harsh. Maybe it can work for some fights. I heard for the Enacro fight, it's actually quite useful. But for her debut fight, it was quite useless. And I know BC went on a rant. I don't know if he did it on his ranting hour. I don't watch all the ranting hours anymore. But it was basically like I think he uploaded his run of Leviathan, and he said Rydia's mitigation is complete dog shit for her featured event. And then everyone's like, that's not true. I can use Rydia as mitigation, and then they're running like Zach and Layla as well.
Yeah.
So that Rydia isn't really a factor, period.
She's
because Zach's either absorbing all the attacks or Layla's dodging everything, and Rydia's just there. But I haven't seen a single person disprove BC yet, where Rydia is not sufficient mitigation on her own for her own fight. Like that's just not one fucking thing. And so, like, she doesn't do damage like a DPS. I don't know if they thought she was going to be a support character or what, but her damage is on the low side. I think in synergy, without running HP cap up, it's like 300k, which is very, very pitiful nowadays. And so you're bringing her for her gimmicks that are non-existent. This is the first. This is the first of insanely disappointing characters this month. This month makes me so mad because all of these characters are dog shit. I think even if you started your account yesterday, don't pull on any characters this month. This month is the most useless pool of characters we've ever fucking seen for the game. Ever. 4.5 years of fucking defo history. These are, like, I was mad at Squex because of the gem cap. I'm trying to spend gems as much as possible, as Marco said. And I feel like I would have been happier with the game if I never knew these characters existed. Being forced to pull these characters and see how fucking terrible 80% of the characters they really give us are. They detract from the defo experience. And I don't
know. I actually think next month is worse.
No, this we'll argue about that, but yeah, like it gets worse from Rydia. It only gets worse from here. But Rydia is such a tone deaf fucking character. I like can't believe in my head, if I was gonna do my like conspiracy multiracial lion hat on, like they wanted to introduce the gem cap during the worst month of character releases Defo has ever fucking seen.
There you go.
Just to get us to pull. Like I like this month is making me so fucking mad, and we're only on the first character right now. But yeah, that's all I got, Mark.
Shout out to our good friend Rizfoina, who is on Twitch and YouTube at Rizfoina. So one of our good content creating friends. Hope you're doing well this evening. That brings us to the next new LD, which is Steiner. And speaking of characters who don't do a lot, I guess Steiner's a damage dealer who is also a support character, but really his new gimmick is this buff that gives some party support. He does give, some HP damage up and brave gains, but he really leans into brave gain and party regen based on his max brave. So he does a big max brave. He really does lean more into support than damage. He does have a lot of dumps on some of his, not a lot, 3, I guess. So he's got some damage. But he really leans into this new LD buff that is all about brave gain up, brave regen, full party brave regen after every action, which again in theory sounds good. And I guess if you really built around it with a brave gain team, may be okay. I'm not really sure there's a lot of content where you need to brave gain around it these days, but if there was, I guess you could throw him in the mix to really take advantage of the brave gain bonanza. I mean, he's not doing terrible brave gain up and brave regen, so if you really shoot him together with some other brave gain teams like Y'shtola and whoever else, you still got to figure out somebody who's going to do damage in that entire party. But yeah, so all the Steiner lovers are gonna be fine. But yeah, he's definitely, if you're gonna do Final Fantasy 9 characters, he's definitely on the bottom tier of the Final Fantasy 9 characters in Defo with his LD. I apologize to say for all the Steiner lovers out there. In a cast of very useful characters in this era, he is what he is. Mino, what are your thoughts about Steiner?
First, to catch up on the chat, I think we've been ignoring chat a bit. Just first of all, you guys threw out some really great disease names, so thank you for that. Fen Ragnarok says, so is this like Eiko? To quote Nidre, I think every GL exclusive event is to sell Eiko, because these are the only ones with lethal orbs coming back, right? And people actually are so used to non-lethal orbs, Eiko usage is shot up to ignore GL exclusive fights. So honestly, I forgot who said it. I'm just going to randomly credit Somegi, but I think Eiko was a little overlooked. And I actually enjoy using Eiko sometimes, not for just the orb ignore, but the follow-up that's triggered when you're under 50% HP is actually, pretty. It's not terrible. She has some cool stuff. So Aiko's not as useless as people said. I don't think. I think I was too harsh on her at first. And then Mark also. Okay, I didn't think about this, but I'm just gonna throw it out there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I feel like if you take time-traveled Garnet out of the equation, I don't think any FF9 character has ever been good. I don't think any FF9 character has been solid, or
Beatrix.
high.
Beatrix.
Fuck. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Beatrix.
Okay. All right. I'll fold to that. But the rest of them,
the main cast,
fucking dog shit. Yeah, fucking dog shit. So I'm not surprised that Steiner sucks. Let's be real here. I think Steiner's somehow worse than Rydia. I just don't know why you would ever bring Steiner. I don't know why you're laughing.
I agree. No,
what is his
I
gimmick?
agree.
What is his gimmick? What is his fucking gimmick? I don't know. Like,
brave regen. That's his gimmick.
Is it the brave regen
that's
or battery
that
literally every other character has? I mean, he has a really strong attack down, but it is a strong with all the tanks we're getting nowadays. Like, we got Layla, we just got Zac, we're gonna get Snow in the future. Like, do you really want that attack down? And then right after Snow or soon after, you got Vincent, who has an even stronger attack down with a BT. Like, I don't know why you would ever bring Steiner, and his damage is somehow worse than Rydia's. Well, actually, I shouldn't be surprised. It's worse than Rydia's. Like, unless you're bringing HP cap up, he's not even breaking 300k most of the time.
He does have support armor, so if you want to blue him, there's that.
I don't even know what to talk about with this fucking character. I think he's more pointless than Rydia. Like, there's no selling point here. He doesn't do any damage. He doesn't do any damage. He doesn't do anything special. I guess, like, you could say he gives the party 200% defense up, but so does Beatrix, and she also just re-released, and she also does way more shit than him.
She's like, really good. Yeah.
I don't understand. Like, Steiner, I've never felt madder pulling a character than I did Steiner. He didn't even feel good in his own Synergy event. I forgot. I used him in Synergy and he wasn't breaking 300k without.
Theologica says, why is the attack down single targets? so bad.
Fucking terrible.
That's so bad.
This is such an awful fucking character. Like, I really feel, but like, this is okay. So spoiler alert. I thought Steiner was going to be the worst character of this month. I thought no contest. This is the worst character we're going to see this month. I keep being told by our JP vets, Thancred is somehow far worse. Far worse. So I mean, we'll see on the next episode, what I have to say. But as of this moment in time, I cannot imagine any character that's released in Defo in the last 4+ years that's worse than Steiner on release. Like, it's just not happening. Like, I can't think of a single good thing to say about Steiner. At least with Rydia, I can say, I guess she lets you dodge sometimes, and I guess she enchants and imperils. Like, that's a thing, right? Like,
yeah, no, at least she has some gimmicks that other characters don't have. Steiner doesn't have damage. He doesn't have great support. His brave gain up is not the highest, and he gives brave regen, which is not the best mechanic in the game at this point. So right, he's kind of on par, Raylos Pendragon, with the JP release of Sarah. Our Sarah was much better. So yeah, if you go back to the LD Sarah that JP got, Excalibur says, he's got that early FR LD, right? That early team up LD. He may be one of the few LDs that has a team up. We have a couple BTs that are team ups, but so BB Steiner team up LD. That's something. That's something going for him. Some fun animation for all the BB Steiner fans.
I hook me up to a lie detector. I can't think of a worse fucking I mean, people are saying JP Sarah, sure, but fine. If you're in GL, I can't think of a worse fucking character release ever. And apparently there will be one next week.
Yeah.
So we'll fucking see. Like, what the fuck is this month? Like, I pulled Rydia and I was like, I just don't. see anything. And then Steiner came and it was way worse. And apparently we're only going to see worse as the month progresses. Like, holy shit.
Now I will concede if there is some big brain like Elfie. I mean, I don't think Elfenau used Steiner in any of his stuff, but you know, if there's these big Brave Gain, we got some Brave Gain like really focused players, and so if they've figured out a way to use him effectively, that's really cool. Like,
Oh shit.
I no, I'm saying that's the only thing I can think of. Like, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen anybody invest in that. That's the thing I can at least think of where he could possibly be good. I have not personally seen that. I have not experienced that. I don't feel like even on Brave Gain teams, he's what you want on a Brave Gain team. I don't think he just brings enough to the table, very truthfully, but I'm open to someone proving us wrong. That's what I'll say. At me. At
I
me
honestly think Bronze Freya brings more to the party than a fully built Steiner. I think
party last stand. Party last stand.
Not a joke. She has better auras too. Like I think like people meme and use like Bronze Freya as a joke when you're like flexing, right? Like I think Nidre likes the Bronze Freya. He used to do Rainsmal Bronze Freya as a flex, and some people are doing Garnet plus Ramza and then a Bronze Freya. I think it's more impressive if your third was a fully built Steiner.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. I think Steiner is a good third to sub out for Garnet or Ramza. Right, friend.
Yeah. Fucking garbage ass character. I don't fucking know.
I think that's a good use for Steiner. He can be the person that you bring in your friend for. Yeah. But we got a new character. So those were the two LDs. We have a couple. People are pulling like using tokens for Zach. We got more banners with Zach BT. So just hold your horses, folks. People are pitying. I saw in my YouTube comments. You can check out all my polls on YouTube. People are like pitying Zach BT on this banner or using tokens already. We got like 2 more Zach free pulls, people, or at least 1 more we know of. So like hold on. Don't blow your load yet. Not appropriate, but it's late night with TCC, so we'll live with it. We got a new character, and her name is Anna Crow, because in some world that's how you pronounce those letters. I don't know that's how you pronounce those letters in this world, but in World of Final Fantasy, ENNAKROS is pronounced Anna Crow. Pisses me off, and I hate all of Squex. And anytime anybody comes and talks about the way to pronounce names, I'm just going to tell you to shut up, because obviously they just make this shit up. It has no rules. Doesn't matter. Bring out some stupid Latin or whatever. No, this is complete garbage. But that's her name, so that's what I'm going to call her. And very truthfully, I've never played World of Final Fantasy, but I already like her better than probably 95% of the cast of Defo from the story that we received in game. So she's a god in her world, and she likes to drink coffee and sugar. And she just like came in and like gave Spiritus and Materia shit. Spoilers if you haven't watched the 3 little stories for the Anna Crow event. And so I already like her quite a bit. And I have her full kit. If you're not familiar with what she does, well, she's a damage dealer. She has a holy dark damage type. And she summons a mech and it attacks people. And that's pretty cool, very truthfully. I know there's a lot of hate on Anna Crow, but I actually think she's pretty fun to use. And so her gimmick's kind of weird. She summons an overhead buff with her LD and her EX. It gives herself 2 stacks. When it gets to 0 stacks, it disappears, right? And that allows her to do more max brave, more overflow, more int brave, and brave damage limit up. Or no, I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong thing. That's what summons the Omega God when her brave is at full. And that goes up to 5 stacks. If it gets down to 0, it disappears, right? The problem is every turn it goes down by 1. So if you do LD and then the next turn you do skill 1, it disappears. But there's always a chance her LD can charge her EX. So hopefully you can just, reset until it recharges, I guess. And ideally, the best way to play her is just to use her LD and EX and support characters that recharge her EX. And try not to press skill 1, which does a decent amount of damage, and skill 2, which does less. I know, I guess skill 2 does a little bit more damage, but skill 1 is what gives her overhead buff, her self buff, her frame buff, and the debuff, which does defense down and resist down to her elements. So the only time you press that is if you have to. But the other 2 attacks can do a lot of crazy damage. My and Crow. Yeah, so yeah, thank you, Yin. It allows her Omega God to be at full brave when it's summoned. So my Anna Crow is not blue. She does not have an ultimate weapon. And she was doing, without Garnet or Ramza, or blue armor or ultimate weapon, she was doing over 1 million damage on her hits. So she does do a lot of damage. Obviously, you can bump that up a lot. But the big complaint is she's clunky because it's hard to keep that overhead buff, the special buff, the Omega God buff, active unless you build around her, which at the end of the day, I don't think is, at this point in this era, I don't think it's necessarily the best argument, because you got to build around pretty much everybody unless you just want to bring Garnet, Ramza, and Zac to everything. So if you're not going to do that and you want to challenge and you're complaining that garbage time sucks, then find a character who's kind of wacky that takes a little bit of interest to build the team around, and build the team around her and use her and feel good about yourself. Feel better about yourself than all the other idiots who can't seem to use her, and then go about your business like I did. So I actually, yeah, she also delays herself. Thank you, Yen. After those EX and LD. But again, it's not hard to work around this. Now, you could say, yeah, she could be designed better, so you don't, the stacks don't leave, so she doesn't delay herself. Then she'd be super broken. We'd all be pulling for her. But you know who really works well? Lloyd, who charges her EX every turn, and Rem, who constantly brings her back up. And Lloyd, Rem, and Anna Crow without any blue armor. They're going to do fine for the rest. They're going to be my TCC challenge team for the rest of this era. So there you go. No BT plus, no friend, no blue armor, no ultimate weapon. The 3 of them are going to be fun, and they are fun. I had a good time playing those 3 in this event. Why? I don't know at this point. Why pull on anything? Just Garnet, Ramza, and Zac. And so I guess if your argument is why pull, what does she do? Don't pull on anybody, because you don't need to pull on anybody. But if you're bored and you want to pull on somebody, she summons a giant mech, and I think that's pretty fun. So go ahead, Mino. You can how much she sucks and how much you hate her and all that kind of.
So I actually like her quite a bit. No, I'm serious. Like, this is a type of character that I really enjoy. This is very similar to like Sync or FF7 Sid,
yeah,
where it's all about like building up for the big hits. I actually quite enjoy this character. I don't think she's strong, but I'll start with the pros. So I really like this concept of, she has a lot of concepts I really like. First is that Omega God is a multiplier to her base stats.
Yeah.
So how she works is basically for her Omega God attacks. I think a bunch of stats are times 5.
Times 5, yeah.
Yeah, like attacks, max brave, and eye brave, and then her HP cap and brave cap, I think, are like times 2. So basically, she scales really, really hard based on base stats. Yeah. That being said, I have not tested her out of Synergy, and Synergy raises your base stats by an insane amount.
Yeah.
And everyone putting up those stupid-ass damage tests showing her breaking like 2 mil and stuff, they're doing it in Synergy, where her base stats are multiplied by 1.5, and then Omega God is multiplying them by like 5 and 2, and then Synergy is multiplying that by a further. I mean, no, the buffs and stuff are getting like, it's her Synergy bias is off the fucking charts because she scales off of base stats, and Synergy increases your base stats by a huge fucking amount. That's why Ultimate Sin, when I used to play this game a lot, I used to actually test everything thoroughly. I have not tested her outside of Synergy. So while she's breaking 2-3 mil in Synergy, realistically, I wonder how much she's doing outside of synergy, and
Yeah,
I'm gonna
I think
guess a lot less. A lot less.
outside of synergy, I think ideally you're going to want blue armor and ultimate weapon on her.
Mm.
In
But yeah,
in
no, it's a lot.
synergy, you didn't need those things. Outside of synergy, I think you're going to want those things.
Again, though, all of that, those are multipliers on top of base stats, so it
Mhm.
doesn't affect how hard her Omega God
Right,
stacks.
correct.
Synergy
Right.
is just fucking ridiculous. So I really do want to see how viable she is outside of synergy, and I'm gonna guess not a lot. But since I've only had practical experience in synergy, I will say, see, like Enna Crow is proof that um Squex knows what numbers a damage dealer should be hitting, because without any support, she can do 7 to 800k
Oh yeah,
pretty
easy.
casually. That's what DPS should be doing, because we've already had characters for months breaking 1 mil with support. So this is the minimum of what new characters should be doing, right? So after like Rydia and Steiner's consistently pulling under 300k, and once again to cut off all the haters, we're assuming you're not running Garnet plus Ramza, okay? Any team comp with Garnet plus Ramza,
Who
all of your
cares?
data is invalid.
Who
I don't give a
cares?
shit.
Yeah.
They're doing all the damage. I don't give a shit what you say. Oh, this character can do 3 mil with Garnet and Ramza. I don't give a fuck. That's invalid data. So we're talking about relative strength without steroids. She can do good numbers, right? And then Rydia and Steiner are pulling under 300k, which is the most pathetic fucking shit I've ever seen. So at least Enna Crow's a reminder that they know, hey, as a damage dealer, you should be doing this much. I love playing around her. She has a lot of dumps, right? LD 6 dumps. So
Yeah.
they remembered that characters can have more than 3 dumps per
Yeah.
skill. So and like, even though her EX, I think it's only 3 dumps.
Yeah.
Omega God multiplies her breaks her HP cap. It raises it a lot. So in reality, she's doing way more than like
Her
capping it by
EX also deletes enemy turns. I did forget that. She does delete
Yeah,
turns.
which is
Nice.
very cool and
Which is
unique.
nice.
Yeah. Mark talked about running Lude. I know a lot of people like to run Lude with her because he's on her banner. Oh no, wait.
No,
No,
no.
he's not.
No.
He's not. Never mind. But I
Reno's on her
feel
banner.
like that's overkill. Because every turn she has a 20% chance of maxing out her EX gauge. So by bringing Lude, you're kind of canceling that out. I'm not a big fan of that. Like, if you're gonna have an RNG full charge, you might as well just let it roll, right? What do they say? Let the dice ride. And so fun character. You can definitely build around it, but I definitely think all of you people posting these number screenshots, try it outside of synergy, and then ask yourself if bringing Rem plus Lude or whatever and Enacro actually outperforms just bringing a BT plus character at some point.
Yeah.
It's a good
Yeah.
attempt. Yeah, it's a good attempt. Like, Enacro is a good step in the right direction. I love the concept. You can play around with a lot of her gimmicks. Like you said, turn delete's super rare to this day. I think she's the 3rd character who can do it. And by virtue of coming out and making Zidane the worst turn deleter, no, so yeah, like that's great in itself, right? Because I think Raw's copium was, oh, Zidane is like really great at what he does, but now he has actual competition. You have the self delays. I don't mind. That's something you play around with a lot.
Yeah.
I did it with Sync, right? Like, even if you don't want to bring turn manipulation, you can slap a really strong call like Kate Sith on that, right? Like these big fat oracles, and have her take very little turns. Have her only take turns that are buffed up, because if you bring her to the forefront all the time, she's going to run out of that overhead. That is not sustainable. That'll hold you like 10, 15 of her turns, which is not realistic if she's your main DPS. But no, yeah, she's a ton of fun. I actually really, really like this character, but a lot of people skipped because she's not a meta character. That's understandable. She's kind of bland if you're looking for path of least resistance. And then just a quick shout out to they slowed our GL schedule down again just to release the LC right in time for us to get the event. So there's a shocking amount of people already pulling because of how she's performing in JP, which is mind-boggling to me that people are still falling for this trap.
Yeah.
She gets a full she gets a full rework.
Yeah.
a force weapon, and her numbers are when you have that like 800% multiplier in force time, and people were like, "Oh shit, I need to pull Enacro now." Like, I don't know how this keeps working. Clearly, Squex is banking on the 8-month delay so that every time we get a new character, the LC is very close, and people are watching that and pulling because of that.
Well, I mean, I guess, get Reno and here and her right now so that you can just pull their FRs later and don't worry about the LDs.
Yeah, right. But in of itself, I personally don't mind if characters aren't insanely strong. Enacro is very, very fun. I love all of her gimmicks. The turn delete, the RNG on the EX recharge is fun. Self delay is something fun to work around. Omega God being a multiplier is such a fun mechanic. I love that mechanic. That the future is bright for her because no matter what era she's in, you have that fat multiplier on top of whatever the fuck she's getting. And this is a character that you can either play as a very slow character or turn manipulate to be your main DPS. Like, lots of flexibility, very viable numbers, a fantastic character. I don't need all my characters to be meta, Squex. I just need them to not be Rydia or Steiner or Thancred or Irvine, right?
Yeah.
Like, I need to not feel bad when I use these characters. Like, at least this character isn't doing 10% of the damage Zach is doing, right? Like, please. It just, yeah, but no, I actually probably going to be my favorite character of the month.
Well, speaking of meta, we had 2 BT pluses as well. The first is Ramza. Ramza got his BT plus, and he does HP damage up. So, and he does, I don't know, he's support, crazy guy. He doesn't do any damage. I guess he does decent damage now with his update with his EX and his new HP plus does a little bit more damage than he used to. But at the end of the day, you're bringing him for some strong HP damage, and that's what he does. And so, people are saying, oh, you don't need Ramza if you got Garnet, and other people are saying, well, why not bring both? And then have you brought both of them? Like I understand having HP cap up. He does have HP damage up too. But HP cap, he raises the cap of the HP damage you can do. There's another name for that. That's more official, isn't it? HP damage limit and HP damage up. He has both of those. Jovial Roger, said Ultimecia and Amitatillion also do delete. Is that what you're talking?
Yeah. I was gonna shout out. Thank you, Jovial Roger. You're right. Enacro's the 4th. I forgot Ultimecia deletes turns too.
Yes. Ramza raises the HP damage limit with his BT plus. And it's stupid. I mean, running Ramza and Garnet with anybody, it's awful. I don't know why you would do it. It's just awful. I don't. Have you even tried it, Mino? I did it once with a friend Ramza. I've not greened my Ramza. I just don't see any reason to it.
I'm not greening Ramza either. Fuck that. That's overkill.
I understand if you're new to the game, you're trying to collect some characters. I think sure he's a good pickup. Build up your roster a little bit. If you don't have Garnet, obviously he's great. But at some point, as veteran players in garbage time, you just don't. I think it's a valid argument. We don't need Garnet or Ramza. like I said, those 3 characters without blue armor, we're doing fine. Obviously, one of them was in synergy, but again, without ultimate weapons, without blue armor, it's garbage time. You don't need the most powerful meta units, but he is super powerful. So I don't know. I don't know what to say besides, hey, if you're a big Tactics fan, good for you. You're eating well tonight and enjoying your green Ramza. I'd rather green stupid characters. Which I am doing quite a few this month. I greened Cloud and Squall. And have used them like twice each because I keep pulling on other characters. So Zach also gets a BT and a BT plus. I did green Zach because I do like Zach. And he gets HP damage limit up too. And HP damage up, and brave damage up, and brave damage limit up, and all enemy attacks, AoE attacks, he takes them, and he can't die, and he gives the party brave barrier, which is a shield, and it reduces incoming brave damage, and he does a shit ton of damage. Because if all of that defensive and support stuff wasn't good, he also does a lot of damage. So he's the broken character of this month. And so you can Ramza, Garnet, Zach, anything you want, and you can probably win and feel good about life until FR era. But I like Zach. He's real easy to play. He's real simple. He's real powerful. You should pull for him, I guess, but I don't know that you need him. It just seems. I think Mino said it already tonight. It just seems like overkill at this point. It's just like if you want to auto plus, people are like auto plussing Lufania plus with like 6 different types of characters now. So it's not just Uteroth. It's just auto plus everything. So if you want to play this game like your idle game, AFK arena games, then great, get Zach, Ramza, and Garnet. If you want to spend 15 minutes doing a fight, bring 3 characters without ultimate weapons or blue armor, and no BTs, no BT plus, no BT plus friend, no friend unit at all, and you can enjoy yourself. And that's what I've been doing. Mino, what do you think about these 2 idiots that are super powerful and broken? And
I actually had a bit to say on each of these, so
great.
I'm surprised you're bundling both. So I'll try to keep this
no, go ahead.
Non-Randy. So Ramza is the Garnet if Garnet didn't exist in the JP timeline. This is the because Garnet's big sell is the HP cap up, and Ramza is the only one in the JP timeline that had it, and his is larger than Garnet's. His is 51%. I think Garnet is, I want to say 40 or 45. Either way, Ramza's is larger. He goes. So if you're a newer or returning player and you missed out on Garnet, I encourage pulling Ramza, right? Ramza is also far more fun than Garnet. I was realizing as I was comparing these two. I actually I dislike using Garnet just because it's not fun, right? Like, we talked about this before. It doesn't matter what button I press. It's all the fucking same. But Ramza has he has the free turns, he has the launches and delays, he has the instant breaks. He has a lot of fun tools to play with as an Aura bot. Like, he's not just an Aura bot, he also brings a good amount of utility for a lot of harder fights. I think there was a Reddit post this week of this guy who couldn't beat Kieran Lufania Plus with current units. Well, Ramza is your solution actually over Garnet. It's actually very possible with that. So I think Ramza is a great Aura bot. I think it's a character I'll eventually pick up, and Ramza's just always been a favorite just because he's a Swiss Army knife. Yeah. He can do a lot of fucking things. There's so many fights that are the harder fights that want instant break want launches or delays. Yeah, like he can do it all. Yeah, he's fucking great. So I'm a big fan of this character. Of course, if you're terrible at team building, which I know almost all of you are, your idea of team building is stacking Garnet and Ramza, right? Just overkill, right? Like, just don't address anything. Just make the numbers go as big as possible. So of course I understand he's a huge draw. So like in GL, since he's come out, how many fucking Garnet plus Ramza teams have we seen plus a third? It's driving me kind of nuts.
To justify how good another character is.
Yeah, to justify a third character, I believe somebody posted Garnet plus Ramza plus Vincent, and saying, "Look, Vincent can do recent Lufania plus." Or something.
I can't believe no one has added me in some other Discord server with Ramza, Garnet, Jegrin runs to prove how good Jegrin is.
I'm almost positive they're probably out there, Mark. They haven't pinged you,
Yeah.
but I'm sure someone is unironically run
so good
Garnet Ramza.
so good.
Yeah, and I'm sure all of these big numbers, I'm almost positive that are, Enacro showcases, it's Garnet Ramza.
Oh yeah.
Enacro. Yeah, like at this point, you could really do Garnet Ramza
Anybody
and no third party
oh
member,
yeah, dude.
and still slaughter the fight. The third member really just does not fucking matter. They're each giving each other over 90% HP cap up. So like both of them are doing not only double damage, but you've got Ramza's high turn rates to manipulate Garnet's follow up. The third member just does not fucking matter. And in fact, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say if you do Garnet Ramza plus third, I'm just gonna assume you don't know how to team build, because you could probably get better results with just the two of them instead of throwing in a third shit member. It really doesn't. It's, oh my god. But I do think if you're gonna pick one or the other, Ramza's very, very cool. That's the guy to go for. I think somebody made this big Reddit post about how he's gonna be more future proof going into Shinryu. I honestly don't care, because when Shinryu comes, I'm gonna be using characters with force weapons anyways.
Yeah, right.
Instead of outdated Aura bots, like I really don't give a shit. So, but have at it, theory crafters, right? Like there's a lot of posts saying Ramza can outperform Garnet and Shinryu. Well, we'll see. Zach, pushing back slightly on Mark. Zach is proven to be the only mitigation you're gonna need till Shinryu.
Yeah.
Period.
No, right.
And there are gonna be a handful of harder fights moving forward. I think I've been promised that the difficulty starts picking up slightly next month, where we get fights that are actually difficult.
Yeah, there's a few of them coming up.
And Zach does trivialize 100%. Apparently Zach can do all your tanking needs and make you unkillable for all the hard fights coming up, including the I think the triple Kefka fight is a very famous one. The first 6-man is very famous for being able to kill your team without mitigation, and Zach is king of that. So like Zach, I will say Zach is a worthy investment. I'm not going to say he's overkill, but I will say he's what Eiko was kind of meant to be, as in a fail-proof defensive unit for your party, proven to go from now to Shinryu. If you ever need to take any hits, Zach will be, and he'll also bring the damage. Unlike Eiko.
Well, that's the selling point. I think is he. I mean, he does have some party support with his BT plus, but he is really bringing solid damage on top of his great defensive abilities.
Yeah, but I think basically, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong with either of these two or both, and they're proven very, very heavily proven to be overkill for the remainder of Lufania Plus. Literally, they're both the best at what they do until the end of Lufania Plus. Ramza with HP cap up and being an Aura bot, and Zach with tanking and mitigation.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess at this point, that's all I'm going to be talking about, because we're not really talking about how characters are going to be in FR era, because you're going to want to pull the characters that are on the banners in FR era. And yes, some of them are characters that come back if you already have their LDs, but why pull now for an LD when you're going to have triple LD banners with FRs, new BT pluses? Like, you should be pulling on those banners and just getting as much as you can on them. So like, I don't, if I'm talking about how characters are good, it's right from now to the end of Lufania Plus era. And we'll talk about FR characters when we get to FR era, because that's a whole different situation. So, but yeah, I mean, I think he's the pick of the month. In terms of that, he's going to help you out if you do suck. Oh man, you need some help. He's the good choice for your resources this month, in my opinion. All right, well, let us know who you are thinking about and all that kind of stuff. And you can check out our podcast polls. I won't go through them all this time, but as you can imagine, Obviously, a lot of people already have Ramza. A lot of people going for Zach. A lot of people skipping Steiner. Actually, a good chunk of people, both going for a Crow, but also pitying the BT on this banner. And my advice to you is there's another Zach banner. So, like, just with a free pull. Don't be pitying BTs or using your tokens yet, people. Got another banner. Just look at the announcements. One more banner. At least, right? With Zach. I think it's, we believe it's the Charlotta selfie banner. But then there's another banner with that as well, which should have probably a different BT. But there's one more Zach BT banner. So don't be pitying stuff. Thanks for that, J.A and Quetzalma. Of course, you can check out all of the character stats on TonberryTroupe.com, the beautiful infographics, and look for that. Well, as we move from our characters to the events that we've had, I just want to take a special moment to really shout out a dear friend of ours, Jin Lee, who's been a member of our team, has been on the show and the post show many times. Of course, been making YouTube videos for DissidiaFFOO for several years now. How to play videos, pull videos. Jin and I and Mino and Jin have done pull battles. Just a dear friend of one of our mods, one of our good friends in our Discord, and in our kind of TCC circle there as well. Member of the Fireside Chat with Resfoina, Lids, and 40. Just a great content creator, just a great guy. Excalibur, the resource management video, taught a lot of people how to actually start saving their resources. Jin has kind of left social media and content creation a little unexpectedly. If you go on his YouTube video, he does share a long kind of explanation about he has to kind of leave all of this behind, and he's okay and don't have to worry about him. But it was very sudden, and so we want to just obviously wish Jin the very best. He's been a good friend of ours, and he will be very, very missed. Go check out all his stuff. Resfoina did a wonderful tribute video. It was a little hard for me to watch, but wonderful, wonderful tribute video to Jin. So you can check out that on Resfoina's channel as well. But we will miss Jin. We had a lot of good conversations, a lot of good talks in our private channels, and of course on the post show, Jin would show up often, and we'd have a lot of fun. And I'm a little sad that I didn't get a chance to beat him for a final pull battle, because I'm one of the few people that's undefeated against Jin Lee. So I was really hoping to get that third victory under my belt, and if I would have pulled against Zach, I probably would have won. So but Mino, anything to say about our good friend Jin?
Yeah, I'll keep it brief. I know Resfoina dropped in today, and she's still here, and I purposely didn't want to talk about it just in case it was hard to bring up. Her tribute video and everything, but Jin was he was one of the first great content creators of his game, and I know he supported tons of he went out his way to comment and uplift a lot of the newer CCs as they were starting out. I know that's how he met Rez. Rez started uploading videos and Jin started commenting, and that's how they met, just so he could like signal boost all these people. He was really great. He, compatriot, right? Like, he was one of my favorite people to talk game defo theory way back in the day. As you said, he used to be one of our regular guests. He was one of our first mods in TCC, one of the first people that we had guest on regularly, and he was like a regular member of the post show. Great guy, and I wish you the best, Jin. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. Sorry. Yeah, let's move on.
Going to our supporter channel. So if you want to be one of our supporters, you can do that a couple ways. Obviously, if you follow us on Twitch, if you subscribe on YouTube, that supports us. Watch the videos, listen to the podcast, that supports us. We appreciate that. You can subscribe to us on Twitch or become a member on YouTube. It's only 99 cents. And then that gives you access to a couple exclusive Discord channels as well. And so one of those is our Supporters Corner, where our TCC intern, Bodo Cedar, asks a question. Our question this week to our community was, with the game having 8 or so months of foresight, how far ahead do you plan? Do you plan for pulls, for fights, or both? Sir Alex says, I plan greens up to present JP. Well, with fights, I usually go ahead a month or two, even prepare teams in gameplay. Daniel says, safe for Luna Freya. Daniel doesn't plan at all. Crush, since I play JP, I use experience with that version to decide who I'll go after in GL. Red Cane, I don't plan very much. I pull for units I'm interested in, and re-roll accounts when I need to get more resources. I'm joking, we like Red Cane. I plan for pulls using faux tip. Nidre's site, shout out to Nidre. I used to look up kits and BT cycles coming up, decide if I want need, gem, ticket, blue, etc. Used TT Tonberry Timeline and faux tip. But now I just throw tickets at every banner until summon biscuits until I don't have it. Zeno says, check out Defo Zeno. I plan for the BTs as those materials are the only major limited ones. I agree. That's kind of where I am. Blart, new dad Blart, says, I keep let me just shout out new dads. Think your life's hard. Man, babies are stupid easy. If having babies is tough, it sucks for you. And Bart's not saying anything bad. I'm just thinking about it. All these dads I see got babies. Oh man, I got a baby. Baby's easy. I take 40 babies. Baby's so easy. You deal with the kids that I got. Teenage. Oh man, babies awesome. Man, they just sleep and poop and eat, and then you just leave them. Babies are great. Do have babies all day. Once they get walking and talking, they're awful. Anyway, Goose, good friend Goose says, playing greens and blues. Greens up to JP, so I could afford some investments like Theodore. K9 Word says, I mix and match, and if it looks okay, some tickets and move along. Once I have a stock of Iggy's, I see what fights I need to complete and units that will help them. Indolent Lard, I have to always remember because he changes his name. I look and plan at least 1-2 months ahead in terms of who to pull on and what fights are going to be. Nidre says, I used to plan, but now I just pull everything. Nidre, founder of Faux Tip, the planning website, says, just pull on everything. Casus says, I'd like to collect them all, at least up to LDs for favorites. Want pulls straight away. The rest depends on the banner. Pond says, I used to plan with garbage time. I feel less interested in the game, so I've just been throwing tickets. C-Sam says, I look at the next BT cycle for the most part. Final ASIM says, back in Chaos Era is heavy planner. After started playing JP, stopped planning because I already know who's good and who's not. Eamon says, I don't pull plans because I ain't a nerd. How's that working out for you, Eamon?
Nerd. He fucking how hard does he theory craft these fucking characters and then never acts on them? That's a really funny statement. I could go hard on that, but
that's the pot calling the kettle black, is what that is.
Yeah, I could go hard on that, but I'll spare you my wrath tonight, Aim. But that's complete bullshit. All right.
Jovial Roger, who's to say I've never given birth? 2022, my friend. Don't gender label me. I don't know what that means. Let's not get into that. No, I've never given birth to a live child. That probably sucks. But I'm just I was talking as a father, right? As the father of a baby. Babies are great. I love babies. Super easy to take care of. They get harder the older they get. I had fun. Kids are great. Love kids. Bishop says, before the cap, I pulled with tickets and I had a lot. Gems I didn't. Now I follow Mark's tier list. Hey, good advice. Check out my tier list. 75,000 gems, 600 tickets a month. Save your resources. Tunic says, I believe in the sane good players just pull the weapon. However, if I don't pull the weapon, I use money to bribe squecs that I'm actually good at the game. You don't have to bribe, you just pay them and then you get resources. Theologica says, with gem cap imminent, all pull plans out the window, gotta keep spending. And that's where we are. I'm planned up. I guess I have a couple FR eras, but yeah, I'm pretty much pulling on everything. That's my plan. I do have my greens planned out to the end of FR era. so that I knew that I had enough resources for the greens that I wanted to green. Besides that, I'm literally pulling on every banner. Mino, what are your pull plans?
Dude, I've been racing the banner for so long. It's just not going to happen. I'm racing the gem cap. I really want to spend down to 0 before the gem cap comes. I just don't think it's fucking
Never gonna
possible.
happen.
Told Mark at the beginning of the show, if you guys weren't here, 3 months straight of gem pulling. I pulled every banner for 3 months on gems, and I was only down 50k gems from where I started. I understand that's a lot of good luck, but it also will require a lot of really bad luck for me to hit 0 from 1.4 mil. So I think I'm around what Mark is right now, because I did 580 G tokens on Steiner. I just stopped caring, guys.
I need to hear how you need to regale the audience, since you don't record your polls, how you got to 580 G tokens on Steiner.
Okay, yeah. So like I finally lived. You know what? After the Chris Rock Will Smith incident, a lot of people have told me. A good friend of mine told me, like, you can't judge people because you don't know how you're going to act unless the situation actually comes up, right? And so I think what I gave advice for pulling, I did not follow, because people keep asking, what would you do if you hit 300 G tokens and you didn't pull either weapon, right? And this is what happened to me, and I think I learned to myself, yes, I should not have given advice until I actually hit this situation and lived it. And that's what happened. So on Steiner's banner, I hit 300 G tokens and I didn't have Zach BT or Steiner LD. So I said, all right, fuck it. I'll just keep pulling till 500 G tokens, right? Maybe I'll pick up Steiner on the way and then I can token Zach. And first of all, that's already against the advice I give, because by then there were 2 or 3 more Zach banners, right, with free pulls. So you never know. You could always come back. I think the smart advice is stop here, double back. But I was like, I need to spend 1.4 million gems, so I'll pull the 500 G tokens. Pulled the 500 Z tokens, no BT, no LD. So I'm sitting there thinking, so what do I fucking do? Like, what would you do, Mark? Curious, because you have 500 G tokens, no weapons. Would you have spent G tokens on the LD, on the BT? Would you have waited?
Yeah, I probably would have stopped at 300, and waited for the rest of the banners. But yeah, I guess you just keep kind of pulling and right. Worst case scenario for an LDBT banner is 800, right? 800 G tokens. We've talked about that. The potential worst case scenario where you don't get I guess the potential worst case scenario is 1100 to get the EX, the LD, and the BT. But hopefully you would have some ways around that. But yeah, I guess you keep pulling, right? Yeah. Ask 500 and just hope for the best. Now, it would be nice if there was a little more. You can always get the BT book if you got them both, but if there was a couple more options for things to spend in the shop than just a 400 G token BT book and 100 token Power Stone, it would make it a little easier.
So I hit 500 G tokens with nothing.
Yeah.
And I remembered our good friend Sir Alex's theory. So Sir Alex, if you guys remember, he is pulling at least 400 G tokens a banner.
Yeah.
Because he can, if he does that, he can get under cap in 2 months or something. And so I was like, I could keep going. Worst case scenario, I get another BT book, right? Like, fuck it. Like, this is good. So I just literally kept gem pulling until I got something. So I got Steiner LD on the 580, spent the 500 G tokens on the BT, and that's that. And then I just realized, 1, I'll never spend all these gems, and 2, I just don't give a fuck anymore about what optimal pulling is. Like, what am I gonna do if I free pull Zach? I save another like 100k gems. What for? I'm trying to spend it down, right, at this point. So who gives a fuck? I'm just dumping as many gems as possible. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Now I'm ticket capped somehow. I don't know how that oh, right, because I didn't spend tickets.
Because you haven't been spending tickets, so now we're overflowing tickets. I can't buy the tickets in the co-op shop. I'm not going to.
more
They're
tickets than
gone.
I've ever had.
Yeah.
Every time I've ever been at ticket cap in this game, the last 4+ years, I've spent them down just because I didn't want to fucking have them sitting in my inbox. And then I ticket pulled in a crow. I got more tickets from the event than I spent. I'm pretty fucked. I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I have to worry about the gem cap and the ticket cap now. I don't. All around, Squex's decision is killing my fun. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with these resources. It feels like a punishment at this point. But
being punished.
But yes, that's my plan. Yeah,
we're being punished. Well, we have some events. I guess we can talk about. I don't even remember what the Spring Festival event was. It was a co-ops cloudy with a chance of something. Yeah.
Isn't that the one where you had
exclusive event, the Cloudy with a Chance of
Feathers? All these Cloudies are GL exclusive.
Yeah,
you can tell because they have lethal orbs.
Cloudy with a Chance of Feathers token challenge. That didn't come with that didn't come with Lufania though, right? That was just
No, it did. It did. Came with the Lufania.
Well, where's the Lufania in this?
It's the Rafflesia. Unless you're talking about the second one. Yeah, the second one was just a co-op.
No, this is the second one. We already talked about that one last week, right? So this one was just the co-op, the Cloudy with a Chance of Feathers. There was no Lufania for that one. We did get, and I don't know if is it still live. We did get a special event. It may already be gone, I guess, with the Magic Pots. So that was like our April Fool's event, I guess, and it's already gone. I guess it was just a 7-day event.
That was really good.
Yeah, and so you got in. There was three different waves of 10, and it was basically true and false. One was Final Fantasy lore. One was like Final Fantasy world lore. One was Final Fantasy character lore, and one was Defo lore. And some of them were, now Mino reminded me you could reset the waves if you got the question wrong. I completely forgot that. So I died a few times because some of the questions I think were sketchy. The default ones were fine. I got all those, but there's a couple of the character ones. There's one question I don't even remember. I have to look up where the questions were. There's a couple of questions. I'm like, they're cheating you. But anyway, you had to hit which magic pot it was. That was kind of fun. Something to do, something different. You got tickets. A lot of freaking tickets. You did that. But yeah, what do you enjoyed that, Mino?
I liked it a lot. This is what I think trivia questions should be. I really went ham against the GL exclusive Twitter trivia thing for one of the anniversaries that were fucking awful. I went on a huge rant if you went back to that episode, because those were things like, what was the most popular great sword glamour or something? What's the most used great sword glamour, which literally nobody could know. It's just a pure guess. That's not trivia because you can't know it. You're just fucking guessing. And then it was a lot of dumb shit like like there were trick questions to purposely throw, like the wording was vague, deliberately vague to trip you up. It was not fun. And I had this huge rant of what a trivia quiz should be, and it should be like actually testing your knowledge, not guessing, for one. And the second thing is it should have been like FF related to promote FF games. That's the whole point. Like we talked about it all the time. Like the JP Twitter account, they have a trivia question every release. So for like Reigns, it was like, oh, what is the name of Reigns' airship, right? And it was a Lindblom. And then like you can get that right or wrong. And the point is you'll be like, oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Let me, like, it piques your interest in the subject. You could look it up. You could want to buy the game. That's perfect trivia and advertising. Hell, Enacro makes me kind of want to revisit World of Final Fantasy. The advertising is working on me as well. But so I thought the questions were very fair technically. There were some tricky ones. I want to know what Mark thought were some of the BS ones.
I have to look. Let me jump on Reddit and see, because I think there's a list of it somewhere on Reddit.
Yeah, there's a lot of variety. I think there was like close to 40.
There was a lot of questions,
There's
because
a
I
lot
did
of
do it.
variety.
I missed a couple ones, so I had to go back and do it. And it was almost all different questions.
Yeah, replayability. It's 40 something. It's almost 40 questions because it's 3 questions per FF, and the FFs go from 1 to 15 plus type tactics and type 0 and World of Final Fantasy. Right. So it's really really good. Um, it exposed how many fake fans are playing the game. I saw so many people say that they've not played more Final Fantasies than they've actually played, which was hilarious to me. And there was one question that was mistranslated that fucked me up, and I hold a grudge because this isn't my fault. This is the dev's fault. And it was true or false. Did the fourth elemental fiend destroy Edge's home kingdom of Ablan? And that was mistranslated because it's supposed to say, did all 4 elemental fiends destroy Edge's hometown
Right. That
of
was
Ablan?
yes.
And so when I answered the question, did the 4th fiend I was like, yeah, Rubicante is the 4th fiend you fight, right? So yes, and I was like, no. And I was like, what? I don't fucking understand.
Yeah.
But apparently that was mistranslated from the JP version. So that was very funny. That's the only one
I missed that one. I remember that one. And there was one I can't find the English version of it. But there was one about Lightning and Sarah that I think I missed. But I definitely got that.
Excalibur is bringing up one of the biggest, the most contentious one. I'm going to side with Squax. I really think the mistranslated Rubicante one's the only unfair one. But a lot of people, there was a huge Reddit post on this, and Excalibur's bringing it up. There's a question saying, Tidus, Waka, and Lulu all had experience as guardians. True or false?
Oh.
And the answer was true, but everyone said false because they were thinking about, when Tidus started the game, he did not have experience as guardians. But this is present tense.
Right.
It's saying, do Tidus, Waka, and Lulu have experience as guardians? Present tense, I think it's fair to assume not only is this like defo Tidus, but like post-game Tidus. I think that's a fair assumption. I don't think you should assume everyone is in pre-game state. There's a big fight over that, but I don't think that was unfair. If you disagree in chat, please give me your reasoning. We can fucking argue about it right here. But I don't think it's misleading to say Tidus has experience as a guardian. That's like saying, does Sora have experience wielding a fucking Keyblade? Like at this point, I think you have to be an idiot to say no, because that's his one defining trait. But if you guys want to get into it, we're right here. But Mark, did you find any of the questions?
No, I think I don't know how it was worded. I didn't have a problem with that one. The Emblem Rubicon one was one that I missed. The question about Lightning and her sister, I missed. Maybe I just misread it. I don't know how it was written in the actual game. But I missed that the first time, and I didn't know why. I can't imagine I would have gotten it wrong. So I must have just misread it how it was. In terms of I think the answer was Lightning was Sarah's older sister, which I don't know how I would have not gotten that right. So I must have misread the question. But if someone remembers that question,
most people are misreading the question, which I think is player error. That's not the game's fault.
No, that's not the game's fault.
Because I fucked up on one question because of that too, right? Like it was like, does Garland, after the Warriors Light kill Garland, does he travel back in time using the power of darkness? And I was like, yeah. And then no, it's the power of chaos. I was like, okay, that's obvious. That's on me. So like, I think a lot of all these questions are very legit, except for the Rubicante one. So the people blaming the game for asking bad questions, I think that's misplaced. I think that's just player error. But yes.
Well, we also had Divine Leviathan and the summon board grind for that. Of course, if you have your 3 synergy characters and your BT Plus and your Moogle Pass, not real hard at all. Took me a couple hours to finish that. Without Moogle Pass, that probably would have been a nightmare. But Anything about the divine Leviathan grind, Mino?
No,
I
other
don't
than
even.
that,
What is his level 40 power? I forget. Because all the level 40s give you like a special buff or something after you
it was
summon him.
either a big fat brave regen to the party or a big fat sap to the enemy. One or the other. It had something to do with brave being either gained by you or taken away from the enemy. I don't fucking know. I don't care.
It gives 2-turn tsunami. It gives the party. No, wait. Grants party 2-turn tsunami. Enchant party can deal HP damage 10% beyond limit. So I have to look into that. Yeah. I haven't used Leviathan, obviously. So good content there. Oh goodness. Let me run in and I'll find something to use Leviathan in. But
yeah, test it out, right?
but Lufania. So we've had a few Lufania fights. Were there any of the Lufania? Yin is saying it's brave refund based on 50% up, and then HP damage cap up. So HP damage cap up is nice.
Yeah. Brave refund. Okay. It's something with brave.
So
whatever.
It's worse than Ifrit. Yeah. No.
Well, I mean, it's less of an HP cap because that's Ifrit's only gimmick, raising the HP cap. But yeah, like brave refund's kind of cool. I don't know. I probably never use the summons for their extra effect. I don't know if that's common or rare. I know that in like
I forget what they are usually because I don't ever look see what they do.
Yeah, but no comments on the event other than we're at the point where even if you don't have Mog Pass, which I don't right now, the grind's still not that bad. It's probably an hour, 2 or 3 more, but
yeah,
who gives a shit? I'm watching Severance on Apple TV or something. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah,
running auto in the background.
Exactly. Anything from the Lufania Plus fights, Leviathan, Sid Reigns, LD or LC Lufania Plus, or the Anacro event?
Yeah, I think I was talking to BC about it, and he walked it back. He said it was a really boring fight, and then after it dropped and we went through it again, they're like, "Oh, there's enough mechanics in here to make it a challenge if you don't bring the featured characters." Of course, Zach completely destroys the fight, but like it had interesting enough mechanics, right? I think it's been a while. I want to say the ads were invincible, and they just spammed AoE attacks constantly, and
yeah,
fuck, there was some threshold shit. Was he taking less damage than no damage at some point? My god, I'm so bad at this research now, guys. But the point was, there was actually enough mechanics in there to make it an interesting fight. The only problem with a lot of these fights is they don't have enough HP. If you re-release this fucking fight as an Abyss or something and just raise the HP, these are legitimately good, well-designed fights. I think this was a well-designed fight. Yeah. I think the Rafflesia one these are well-designed fights. Yes, you can Ramza Garnet and blow through the whole fucking fight, but like if we wanted to make TCC challenges, it would be pretty easy to ban like a handful of characters to make these fights difficult again. So I do at least want to give credit where credit is due, that some of these fights are actually well-designed and entertaining. Not Anacro's though.
Yeah, he Leviathan gets that resist veil at 49% or at 89%, at 69% and at 49%. All enemies brave cannot go below 1 for 5 boss turns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So my buddy Faust, who's one of the people I said who new player that joined during Annie, watching the podcast now, embarrassingly, he spoke up, and right, I think we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but to hammer in like how bad the Anacro fight is, as a newer player with not as strong a roster, he does what normal people do. He'll do a trial run of a Lufania Plus without looking at anything. Actually, you know what? Fuck you guys. All of you look up guides and then pick the most used team and call to arms. But without looking at that, he usually does a trial run of Lufania Plus to see what he needs to bring, and he's saying like half asleep trial run on Enacro fight. He beat it, right? Like this is we're getting ahead of ourselves a bit, but this is a joke of a fucking fight. Sorry, Mark. Back to you.
No, I that's fair. No, I was just looking up what Leviathan did. The Sid Reigns fight was the weird. It was just was it a single target or was it two? There was two of the dragons or just one of the dragons?
One,
yeah, just one. Yeah, which is always bad. It's always a bad sign when there's one boss. And it had an orb. Oh, its orb was kind of rough,
Brave
wasn't
regen.
it? Yeah.
No, it was Brave regen, but you had to stall for time because there's no way to increase it. It ticks down 1 even if you're Brave regenning, and you're either racing the orb or you're just gonna take the hit, which wasn't that bad anyways.
No, it was a non-lethal.
They're all non-lethal
itself,
at this point,
but not the most powerful of the fights. It gets a brave gain. It recovers from break. Does its big damage. It gets its recast bar up. So I mean, it can be a little bit funny. But did you need to knock back? You need to knock back to knock something off at some point. You need to do some launch
same mechanics as the original fight. So the original fight was actually much harder. I think this one only tacked on a handful of million HP, like very small amount of extra HP. But back then it was do a certain amount of damage in a launch, and then you had to launch regularly to get rid of the shield. Nowadays you can just blow past the fucking shield. It had a lot of mechanics, but now it's just got number crept and the orb is irrelevant. So man, I know, I don't know why some people are so against the Lufania orbs, but I feel like this is perfect proof that if you don't have a lethal orb, there's no challenge in the fight. I just really never understand people who ask for the removal of Lufania orbs, because there's just no more fucking challenge if you take out the orb.
Yeah. No, yeah, I agree. That does bring us to the end of Crow fight, which is the Illusionary House, which is on the screen right now. Its orb was doing weakness damage that was either... Oh, no, it was doing holy or dark damage, elemental damage, and doing more over 500,000. That increased the orb. Its attack was not lethal. It summons adds, which can't be killed. That cast shield on each other, heal each other. It gets shields at some thresholds. And it opens and closes. And... when it's closed, it takes reduced HP damage. When it's open, it takes bonus HP damage. When it's closed, it summons the minions. When it's open, it KOs the minions. It opens and closes every 10 player action. So that's the mechanic. Not that any of you worried about that, because it has no HP. It's the least threatening thing you've ever fought in this game. So go ahead, Mino.
So I wanted to point out that this was a turning point in JP. This was when we were watching a lot of JP content creators, and I mean legit JP content creators, the JP speaking ones who live in Japan, and not like QE and Jet. But like, this is when like the Japanese player base started making videos saying like, what the fuck is happening in this garbage time? Why does nothing matter anymore? And this is also, I believe, the month where BC has said, because we pushed back, I think we argued for a while. I was like, JP is in garbage time. He's like, no, it's only easy if you bring meta. And he said this was the month that made him relent and agree that they were solidified in garbage time. Like, he was like, I can't argue it anymore. You can't lose anymore in this. And so what those Japanese videos said at the time was that with the release of Ramza, reductions didn't mean anything anymore. Because Ramza's auras were so strong and his 51% HP cap up were so strong you can ignore... Because, right, like the book's gimmick is that when it's closed, it takes vastly reduced HP damage. But with Ramza, it didn't fucking matter because you overrode it anyways. And And so the big complaint was that Ramza broke the game because his auras were so strong, he canceled out. Not only did he cancel out most reductions, he would like make it so that you actually had a net gain overall over the fucking reductions. Like Lufania pluses might as well just not have had reductions. So the biggest complaint in the JP player base was that like the enemy's HP pool is not increasing. It's not increasing. They have about the same HP as they did when Lufania Plus first dropped. But now we have so many tools to stack HP damage that it's just a non-fact. So remember, this was a problem that the player base was complaining about when only Ramza existed. And the GL player base has Garnet plus Ramza. So, so like, if Ramza made everyone in the JP side admit that this is garbage time and nothing fucking matters anymore, imagine how the GL player base will feel with double Ramzas. Because that's basically what Garnet and Ramza combined is. It's doubled so much that you're blowing past all the reductions. You don't have to pay attention to the mechanics at all. It's fucking embarrassing. So from here on out, if you thought you were sick of garbage time now, wait till everyone's running Green Garnet, Green Ramza through fucking everything. Like, it's gonna be a huge fucking joke. And like, it's just this fight, they went backwards. Last month they had great fights, right? Like threshold attacks, lethal orbs. If you take too many turns, you either don't do damage or they slap you back. This is a player side orb, so you can take all the turns you want. You can blow past the reductions. It doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, it's just literally the enemies from here on out are punching bags. Literal punching bags until we get the occasional fight that spikes up again.
Yeah. So hopefully there's still some surprises this month. GL fights or something that's a little bit more interesting than what we are getting. Well, that kind of brings us to some talking points. Mino, was there anything on? I haven't looked in the podcast questions. Is there anything that you have on your heart you want to talk about when it comes to DeFo? As we move to our host discussion and podcast questions.
I don't think so. The only talking point we had on the ranting hour this week was people asking for characters. How many more characters could you want? But
I already talked about that. No, I want I'm gonna need Minfilia, Urianger, Tataru, Orchifant, Estinian, Ghost Boyfriend, all the guys I keep trying to fuck in Final Fantasy 14 that don't give my character don't give my character time of day. You know, don't know what a cat girl's got to do. Get some love in that game. Anyway, Infamous Element says, I know you guys play other gachas, so I was wondering if you have played Awaken Chaos Era. I've been playing it for a month and I've been enjoying it. Free to play friendly, but also doesn't have a problem taking your money. Awaken Chaos Era is a AFK waifu collector. I have played it. Me too. Yeah, I did play it as Infamous Element asked us to, so I downloaded it and played it. I would say Kill Chaos. I would say it kind of seems like all the other ones, and so wait till you get to whatever the wall is, and come back and tell us in a couple months how it is. You know, anytime you get to a game like this, and I don't know, like give it 2-3 months, and if you still feel that way, great. And I think that's a good sign. But usually you can do a lot real quick, and then you hit a wall and you start paying. And so you know, how much money have you put into it? And are you keeping track of how much money you're putting into it? And again, I'm not shaming anybody to pays money, but a lot of these games are really designed to like make you hit a wall and then pay money. And I kind of felt like that's where it was going. I didn't play 100%. It for too long, but yeah.
I got it a little further, but having played so many gachas, just like Mark, you can see the signs really early. And just like AFK Arena, like they let you power up super fast in the beginning. Yeah. And then in the later tiers, it's like, hey, to rank up your hero, you need like 10 dupes of a 2% pull chance. And so like, yeah, no, the grind really slows. I don't think a lot of people have played gotchas for a long time. They're all fucking terrible. That's why I'm always laughing when people are like, what gotcha are you guys gonna cover after Defo? Or what are you gonna play after Defo? The answer is usually nothing.
Nothing.
I'm already playing plenty of like regular games right now. Like I don't need a gotcha in my life. Although it is nice to have a game that updates every like 5 days or so.
Yep. Dav says, can Zach BT effect bypass the orb? Instant killing orbs. No,
Nope.
it will not. It does not bypass instant kill orbs. There you go. Easy question. Good question. But yeah, no, it is not like Ico. Will not revive you. Anomander. So no, thank you. Drunk Dragoon says, what movie would you like wiped from your memory so you could watch it again for the first time?
Easy. Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
Done.
man.
Fellowship of the Ring. I watch that at least once a year.
Yep,
My rewatch is coming up. I always watch it when things are bad, and I know I have no right to complain because I'm sure Mark is having a much busier time, but the fiscal year is drawing to a close.
Yep.
And it's always my worst fucking period. I remember last year I bitched nonstop about it.
Yep.
Fiscal year ends in June. We're in March. Things are about to get really fucking bad.
Yeah, no, the Lord of the Rings trilogy is something I watch at least once a year. I love it. I love Lord of the Rings. Mino and I have talked a lot about Lord of the Rings. I would say probably Empire Strikes Back for me, as I never really got to watch it. The boys and I did go see it in the movie for the 40th anniversary, and that was a lot of fun. I mean, for a movie that I've seen hundreds of times, to go see it in the movie theater again. I saw it when the special edition came out, but to go see it in the movie theater again with my kids, that was a lot of fun. But to see it for the first time, because it came out right before I was born. So I saw Return of the Jedi in the theater. I did not see Empire Strikes Back in the theater. And so to be able to see that for the first time in the theater, to not know what was happening, to not know the twist, to not know how it ended, because at that time, I mean, it just ended like, and the original ending would have been even bleaker, but just not like movies. It was just kind of a new thing for a movie to end like that, and so that's probably my favorite movie. I mean, Return of the Jedi kind of edges it out because that's the first movie I actually saw in the theaters. So that's kind of my personal favorite. But man, I love Empire Strikes. That's probably that. Good question. Not Defo related, but yeah, Spirits Within. Let's make it Defo related. Spirits Within. If I could see Spirits Within, I don't know. I was in high school, I think, and I took my parents to go see that for some reason, as opposed to like I had friends I could. I took my parents to go. Maybe I saw it with my friends, and then I'm like, "Oh, mom and dad, you got to go see this movie." Yeah, like
I have a funny memory tied to that.
And yeah, I remember going watching it with my parents, and my dad was like, "That's the creepiest stuff I've ever seen." Like those cartoons looked way too real, and I had no idea what was going on. And like, no, Dad, none of us did. Yeah, go ahead, Mina. What's your memory related to that?
To out myself, so I believe like my friends and I were 13 when that movie came out, and it was PG-13, and that was one of the first movies we tried to, go without parental supervision. Just like after school, let's go watch Spirits Within. We're all big Final Fantasy fans, and I remember like, I guess you can't really prove you're 13, right? You don't get like an ID or a license or anything. You can't really prove you're 13.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
I remember, like, as a group of friends, we went to the theater and asked for the tickets, right? And they're like, "Oh, it's PG-13. If you're under 13, you need parental supervision." And we're like, "Oh, we're 13." Like I don't like. How do we prove you're 13? Like we're 13. We can buy these tickets. And then he's like, and then the guy was like, "Look, you know what? I don't care. Like, I'll give you guys like the tickets for like the kids price or whatever, right? Like you don't have to keep lying that you're 13 or something." And at that point we're like, so insistent that we were telling
we will
truth.
pay full price, sir.
Yeah, we'll
we
pay
are 13
the
years
full
old.
price. We're 13 years old. We're not trying to lie to you to get into this fucking movie. I just remember that was such a bizarre fucking experience at the theater to be so indignant to pay more money to watch the movie at that point. I was so fucking mad. I don't know. It's fucking ridiculous. But I don't know how.
Yeah, no. Well, these days, like here in around Christmas time, they have the Commons here in our town. They have a big like celebration and food trucks and Santa Claus and all kinds of things. And the police department actually has a tent, and they make IDs for kids. And so they make official like IDs for minors that, you know, they can have on them or that parents can keep with their picture on them to give to the police if they ever went missing or anything like that. So I guess you could use something like that. But yeah, it's hard to prove that you're 13. Final ASIM asks, hello. Since we're in Zach BT cycle, I have a question. Is the price of freedom 300,000 paid gems? No, the price of freedom is spending 1 million gems, or a little less than 1 million gems. I'm down to 1.22. Yeah, I love Spirits Within though. Great movie. Man, talented voice actors. They wasted all kinds of money. How long did that take? That took like six years. And remember, they reused some of the assets, right? Is that the language you use? Some of the assets for like a Matrix video with like the same characters and same assets of the characters. And that Animatrix video was really good. Do you remember that? The Animatrix that came out between like maybe the first and second or second and third Matrix movie, that all these like little anime vignettes about the Matrix. Yeah. One of them was from the group that did Spirits Within, and they, you know, it was obvious because they reused all of the, you know, character assets in it. But there you go. Well, I think that's it. And that's probably enough. So if you have questions for us, podcast questions, let us know, or, you know, give us some money and we'll let you know next week. But we're not going to meet next week. Next week we'll be off on Monday, Thursday. We will be back the next week with the majority, I believe, of the rest of Zach cycle, and also the majority of Laguna cycle. So we're getting Laguna BT and all of that fun. And I think by the next time we get together, or maybe not. Let me see, when will that be? We might just miss it. Oh no, oh man, no. Not only are we not going to miss it, as we record live in 2 weeks will be the launch of the worst LD in BT Plus era.
I have so much hate for Thangrid's kit, and that's going to trickle over to FF14 as well. So it'll be a fun time.
So, you know, just to end on a positive note, I hate Thancred. I think he is the most useless character in Final Fantasy XIV. I think he's the most useless Scion, and that's saying something because Alizé and Alphinaud are also Scions, and Lys was also a Scion for a while. But I still think Thancred is more useless. And I have to admit, after last week, I really like Emmett Shulk. That little scene where he comes in and goes off on the party about your character. Yeah, no, but I mean, you know what scene I'm talking about. I'm not going to talk about it. I really like him. I understand why people like him. So,
Shulk is a poor man's Eldnarsh or Arden. Take your pick.
Yeah. I could see some similarities to.
I'm gonna put that out there.
Similarities to Arden. I haven't played Final Fantasy 11 to know enough about Eldnarsh. Does Eldnarsh act like that? I know the scheming part, but the just like he's just like in your face about it, which I thought was hilarious. All right, well, thank you all for listening, for tuning in, for hanging out with us. This has been episode 192 of the Crystal Chronicles. So for myself and Mino Spellgood, have a wonderful holiday, whatever religious holiday you are celebrating right now. There's a couple going on. We just wish you a great spring, and looking forward to being with you again in a couple weeks. And we'll show some videos. I'll have my poll videos up here for the next couple weeks as well. But join us on Discord. Do like, sub, ring the bell for notifications. Consider becoming a member on YouTube. Give us a good rating if you watch us on the podcast. We appreciate that. And look forward to our sponsorship next week. We'll talk all about that. Have a lot of fun. And we will see you in 2 weeks. Goodbye and good luck on all your polls. Until then, friends. All right. Hey, the trivia answer is Resfoina, and Resfoina's here with us. What
it was Res?
Yeah,
Holy
what
shit.
a
Okay.
what a fortuitous day that Res would join us, and the trivia questions answer is Resfoina. So the special guest who was with us on the episode, let me look and see what episode it was. So yeah, Res was not here for the pre-show, so she doesn't know what we're talking about. So, Resfoina, the, first of all, question, whose BT is coming up? That would be Laguna is the next one. So who was the special guest during the episode that Squex sponsored the podcast? So sponsored the podcast. So, the last time Squex sponsored the podcast, I think was giving away keychains, right? Resfoina was actually our special guest. I could not remember that. So Poto Cedar found that. It was episode 92, 100 episodes ago. Resfoina was our special guest, and Squex sponsored the stream, and we gave away keychains. So
Rez is saying it was Lulu X. I remember
Lulu
she was very
EX.
excited about Lulu.
Yes.
To catch up on chat, sorry, really quick. I think Jovial Roger asked me extended or normal theater version of Lord of the Rings. Of course, extended version. Come on, Jovial
extended.
Roger. Always.
Come on.
That's
Come
Lord of the Rings is
on.
one of the few films I think that the extended version actually adds more.
Oh yeah.
Than most of the times extended scenes are like filler shit that they were right to cut. Lord of the Rings always added more, so of course that. Hold on, going through chat, we missed a couple. Oh, D-Knight says Mino was making fun of Mystic Quest characters the other day, but I kind of do want to interest them in. And I want to say, do you really think that Benjamin from Mystic Quest deserves to be in the game more than someone like Minwoo at this point? Because that's not true. Main FF, actual playable in your party, there's still a good amount of characters. We're saying on the ranting hour.
No, that was your
FF2.
argument, right? Your argument was like, why do you think that your random favorite character from some obscure game is more important than a main line Final Fantasy character? And I think that's a fair. So why Benjamin from Mystic Quest, which obviously not a huge hit in the franchise. And is not a main game at all.
That was a GL first game. Yeah. So JP players probably don't even give a shit, right. And they spend more money than we do. Heads up, So and then Rez, Rez was the last person on my mind when it came to a guest on our last sponsored stream, because I remember being a total fucking asshole.
Oh, we were terrible. Yeah,
I was very petulant. Like I was ironically plugging Squex every 20 minutes. I was like, oh, by the way, guys.
Because we had to. We had to. We had a timer. I remember that episode.
We had a timer. I don't even remember a timer. I just fucking did it. I just remember
we had to do it. Yeah, we had a timer.
I swear to God, I'm pretty sure Mark didn't even tell me about the timer. I was just being an asshole and trying to mention it as much as I could. And I was like, it had to be someone we were cool with that I was doing that with, right? Like Jin or BC or someone. Like I wouldn't mind fucking around with. Like I feel like Rez is such a rare guest. In fact, I would bet that that's probably the only episode she showed up for, so that I wouldn't want to take up a lot of airtime doing that. But I guess I was wrong. I guess Rez was on that show. I guess. And while
He
we have
was.
you here, I hope you're doing well. My Discord's broken. I was gonna message you and say like, I hope everything's going well. As Mark said, it was hard to get through the tribute to Jin Lee, and just checking in. Hope everything's good, and hope you're not being bothered by stupid ass questions. I've seen some people in her fucking server ask her some stupid ass shit over Jin Lee. Jesus Christ, man. Content creators are people too, but I think some people were saying like, oh, if you were really best friends, then Jin Lee wouldn't have disappeared without saying anything. Or, oh, well, maybe Jin Lee's ignoring you like you ignore some of us or some shit like that. It's some trash behavior, some unacceptable
There's
behavior.
trash. There's a lot of trash people.
So many internet neats.
Yeah, the
that
internet
don't deserve a voice.
doesn't
Like,
help.
Holy shit. Like, my heart goes out to Rez. Like, you don't deserve this shit, Rez. And I think she said that she wanted to maybe peel back on content creation. With shit like that, nobody would blame you. Holy fuck. But sorry, you were gonna say, Mark?
Yeah, no, yeah, the internet doesn't help, and people are pretty stupid. But yeah, no, the tribute. If you haven't watched Res Foina's, I think it's a pull video, as well, in tribute to Jin Lee. Really, really good, and go back and watch some of those old pull battles, and definitely go back and check out episode 92 of the Crystal Chronicles podcast. So it's really yeah, but yeah, Rez was on the post show for many a times, and we had some fun conversations over the years on the post show. Rez and Jin and BC and a lot of other folks we've had over the years. Yeah, so very good. We won't have much of a long TCC After Dark. Yeah, I don't remember which one that was. I may have titled it TCC After Dark because I'm gonna be honest. In 2 weeks, like, I'm not sure that we're gonna get more than 1 week of sponsorship from Manscaped, because it's not gonna be like. It's gonna be everything in my power to be serious about reading some of the stuff.
We gotta do it. We just need 8. We just need 8 people to use the code. I'm actually a little upset at Mark because we could have plugged this a lot harder. I had a ton of material. I can plug anything. I'm a fucking salesman. But I'm mad that we already got the code. I thought we were gonna plug it this week, but I guess Mark's waiting till we have quote unquote hands-on experience next time. But we only need like 8 people to use the code, and then we we.
Oh, you dropped out there, Mino. I lost Mino. Did we lose the stream? Oh no! Oh, Mino died. Oh, Mino died. Yeah. Well, but we will. I wanted some time to do some video stuff for that, and so I don't know that I'll be able to do that next week as well, but there it goes. So thank you all. It's late for me, and I got a big day tomorrow, so, and a big week next week. Love you. Oh, hey, you're back. So go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. My internet decided to kill itself, so I'm using 5G on my phone now.
Oh, nice.
We can wrap this up if you want. I sounded like you were in the middle of it.
Yeah, no, I was just saying I wanted some time to get some some video work done, and also kind of read. I haven't read through all the stuff that they've required, so I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page. Because really, this week, next week are just crazy busy weeks for me. So, I mean, it's going to be pretty busy until I go on vacation. But yeah. So yeah, but I think it's going to be fun. There's just a lot of interesting material. But yeah, the code is TCC Pod. So go to manscaped.com. And if you are already a member and you are already use their products and you need to place an order, there you go. You can use that right now.
So we're for sure doing like a spot next episode, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, I got a ton of material. I was ready to bust it out tonight, but it's already post show, so But eight sales. That's all we need, guys. That shouldn't be too hard. I know they reached out to us because they knew our audience, so I'm sure you guys really need
it. That's saying something. I don't know. Yeah, but we'll give. They sent us all kinds of crap, so we'll give firsthand experience. You know,
if it's soft enough for your nether region, it's soft enough for your neck beards.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I think it's strong enough for a man, pH balance for a woman, Resfoina. So I mean, I think it's non-binary. I think it will work for everybody. Like you know, who doesn't need a nose hair trimmer? I'm most excited.
You know what? Yeah, Rez, you can confirm this. I have a sister. I know how women work. A lot of women get men's razors anyway because men's razors are they're what's the word here? I'm saying they're built for coarser hair, if that makes sense, or coarser skin. So I know a lot of women who get quote unquote men's razors because they work just as well. The gender thing.
Yeah, they are, as Rez is saying, and I live with a woman, so I know this as well. Men's razors are better and cheaper, and why men's razors are cheaper than women's razors is completely ridiculous, but they are. I mean, like, unequivocally, men's razors are just exceptionally cheaper. And
I already know the reason. We actually learned this in. We learned this in business school. I'm sure Mark knows. Yep. Apparently, literally the only reason is because they know women care more about their hygiene and upkeep. So they know they can get away with charging more, whereas men do not care nearly as much.
Yeah.
So they have to sell it at a lower price point to move product. Even though, as Rez said, they are better, more durable, sharper, and cheaper. It's purely a marketing tactic, just like the 300, just like the gem cap.
I have been using Harry's razors for the direct order company, although they're in some stores. I have been using Harry's razors for several years now, and I love them. I've been using their blades for a long time. I use Dr. Squatch for my. It's funny, that's something we're going to talk about. I think in a couple of weeks. This idea that, like, I'm very generous. My wife and I, we give 22% of our income this year. It'll be more next year, but 22% of our income goes to charity, to charitable work, to causes that we support. But I've always been exceptionally frugal or cheap when it comes to, like, we were joking. I think it was on a ranting hour a few weeks ago talking about Skechers. I wore $20 Skechers for years. It's not been until the last couple of years that I actually have, like, good walking, running shoes that are, I mean, and it's night and day. Like, I don't know why I was not investing money in good shoes. I'm not talking about, like, Nikes, just like shoes that look good. I'm talking about shoes that are actually good shoes. I just organized my sock drawer. I probably have more money in socks than I do any other clothes right now. And, like, I have good socks, various different types of socks that I wear. So, why not? And again, using, good personal hygiene products. Spend money on yourself. You deserve it. You deserve it. Squex doesn't want your money.
I think we can sell this easy. Like,
Squex doesn't want your money.
Mark is fucking saying, oh, I don't think we're going to get the sponsorship because it's going to be a struggle to stay serious during it. I'm like, yo, I can think of a million ways to sell this product. No fucking problem.
Well, they have Manscaped. If you're not familiar with Manscaped, they make personal care products that are targeted for men, but again, could be used by anybody, and of course could be bought as gifts from a female to a male without any problem. Your dad or brother.
Okay.
Father's Day is coming up. Father's Day is. I'm pretty sure I've seen that. I'm pretty sure I've seen that Manscaped commercial. Pretty sure I've seen that one. So I won't say definitively. I'm pretty sure I've seen that one. But I've definitely seen the girlfriend wife one. But they sent us. It's pretty cool. So So as to see if this works out and to give us product, they gave us their main selling razor, the lawnmower. They gave us the weed whacker, which is like the nose hair, which is what I'm excited about because I'm over 40. So I have nose hair and ear hair, and that's just part of life. So I'm excited about that.
A big deal is I think, and I watched one of their videos on their sites, and one of the biggest selling point is shaving your armpits, which I'm big for. I can't find a good razor for that. It's always so. You know what? Look, you can use it anywhere. I think we're pushing this too much in the post show.
Yeah,
I think we should save our A game for the next episode.
Next week,
but,
you're all gonna shave your balls.
Yeah, but don't worry, guys. I'm planning on posting before and after pictures once I get my package.
Yeah, Risfoina says that's what you use women's razors for in the shower, Mino. That's how I use my wife's razor in the shower to shave my armpits. Voss says ball shaving is scary. Not with the lawnmower 4.0, Voss. Your balls are in good hands with manscaped.com. Manscaped.com.
This could be the entire fucking podcast. Like,
that's going to be the podcast. That's going to be the podcast.
I don't know why we didn't chill any today. We could have. We had plenty of material. Like,
Resfoina, that is what it's called. It is the lawnmower 4.0.
Because it's manscaping. Exactly.
Yeah, it's Manscaped sells the lawnmower 4.0. This is their fourth iteration of their best-selling razor.
We also joke, but this is an insanely highly rated razor. I'm not even kidding.
It's exceptionally
if you look it up,
so well rated.
Manscaping razors are considered like the best on the market. I'm not even fucking kidding. That and biggest selling point is Hitmonchan bought the 2.0 way back in the day because apparently, like people are saying, manscaping sponsors everybody.
Yeah.
So he listened to some sports podcast that was checking manscaping back then too, and he said he got it, no complaints. Great razor. We'll have way more next episode.
Yeah, and they sent each Mino and myself completely free of charge. At least a couple $100 worth of product for absolutely free. So they are more than happy to get their product in our hands, so that we can tell you all about it and to get you to buy it. So
I'll sell out any day. I don't give a shit.
Yeah. No. If that comes out, let me be very clear. I don't care about money. I know Mino loves money. I don't care about money in that money doesn't mean anything to me. I'm exceptionally generous. I love to spend money. I love to give money away. I love to use money to do stupid things. It doesn't have any sway over me. I don't like, I got to have a lot of money. I mean, I love the fact that I have, the money that I do, but I am not above taking money if you're going to give me free money. Like, right? I mean, like if you're going to give me money to do stuff that I don't have any great moral objection to, bring it on, man. There's no selling out. Like, I mean, it's just, that's fine. I will take your money. And that's why, I mean, we kind of fought against, doing stuff on this for a while, but you know what? Hey, if you got a few bucks, you want to throw it at us, great. I'm more than happy to have your money. I'll use it.
Machamp is my waifu is asking a question. Will the Manscaped razor help with shaving my ass and gooch? Since 100%. This is first of all, we're wasting prime material on you guys in the post show right now, but this is TCC After Dark, and
I don't know what a gooch is, but I assume so. Yeah.
Okay, so you're taint basically. So basically, I actually had this big discussion with my IRL friends when Mark brought up the sponsorship, because I was saying, because like I said, Hitmonchan already has the Manscaped package, and then we were talking about it, and I was like, we were talking about, like, because it's an electric razor, and we were talking about like manual razors versus electric razors, and I was saying I've never liked electric razors because they don't give you as close as a shave, so I've never used them before. Like I always use the manual razor. I've never found difficulty with it, doing anything with it. And then I realized there's one thing that I have a lot of difficulty shaving with a manual razor, and that is ass hairs. I feel like that's an area that is inaccessible to your average razor. And that's what I am most excited about the Manscaped package 4.0, guys.
Yeah. Shout out to Resfoyne again. Thanks for hanging out with us. And Raw, shout out to Raw Life. Raw Life is looking forward to getting his hands on a I mean, you're getting married, Raw, right? Pretty soon. So this is a great wedding night. You want to be nice and clean. Prepared for just a spectacular romantic experience there with your lady friend. So there you go. I'll let you know. We'll do testimonials.
You should do a virtual priest thing for them. I don't know.
A virtual priest thingy? What?
Wedding priest thingy,
Oh,
what do they call it?
A wedding?
I don't know. A blessing? Do you bless people before they get married? Is that a thing?
Well, I officiate at marriages. Like I can marry people. Like I can legally marry you to somebody else. Like that's what I do.
Yeah, but that's like a real job. I wouldn't expect that for free.
No,
but,
I
do like a
I charge money for that. Yeah,
yeah, you could do like a cameo thing for Raw. Like you could be like, "Hey, I'm the backup priest blessing this holy matrimony" or something.
Well, I'll do like he can send me some money, and I'll do like a doctor. Not Dr. Ken. Dr. Ken might do it too, but Master Ken. Does
the cameo thing.
Yeah, he does the cameo thing. So yeah, I'll do like a cameo thing. Can you marry can I marry a man to your waifu pillow? I don't think legally, but under God's eyes, perhaps.
Yeah, we could have Rez or Raw on here to help us sell the razor. Like, it's a million possibilities. We have 2 weeks to sit on it, but are we wrapping up soon?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, Indolent Lard, we are going to one of these days we'll stream Velocipaster, and we'll do live reaction to Velocipaster.
There's so many things I want to do with Mark when he has more time, honestly. Like if we take a week off between podcasts, we could do like Mark is always the one thing I never agreed with Mark on is I said we could do a Patreon, and Mark's always like, well, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing a Patreon unless we had extra content, blah, 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 blah. Well, we could very easily do that, and I'm going to push for it, but I have a ton of ideas like that already.
There you go.